was so steep that she had to slide through the vines on her backside. It was a good place for snakes. All the same, she hugged the ground, knowing what lay in wait if her rapid descent got out of control. Her fingers came in contact with something strange, and when she looked to see what it was, she gasped. It was a magnetic sign, probably ripped off the vehicle as it tore through the brush. "Monroe Lumber Company," she read in an acidic tone. For a shameful instant she was tempted to crawl back up the hill and leave the unwelcome intruder to his fate. She couldn't do that, of course, and he did try to avoid a deer. Following the trail of battered trees and tortured vines, she found the car resting against a tree. A man with a receding hairline was slumped over the wheel, obviously unconscious. Maybe worse. Reaching the side of the vehicle, she stood and dusted her backside while she peered into the car. She tapped the window. "Mister? Are you all right?" The dark form didn't move. She tried the door, but the front fender was jammed back far enough to put the door in a bind. The windshield was cracked, but still intact. Working her way over the tangled brush, she finally managed to reach the far side of the car. There was no damage to that side, but the car was resting so close to the edge of the cliff that there was barely enough room for a person to squeeze by an open door. Dragging the man out that side would be impossible. Still, maybe she could help him, if she could get inside the vehicle. She paused behind the car, staring over the edge of the cliff into the rocky ravine 20 feet below, remembering another time that a car had slid down this way. Only that time the driver wasn't lucky enough to be snagged by a tree. She held off a landslide of bitter memories with a wall of reality. There was nothing she could do about the past, but today a man was in desperate need of her help. When he didn't respond, she hesitantly felt his neck. His pulse was strong and he was breathing. She leaned forward, peering up at his face. His nose was bleeding and a trickle of blood oozed from his scalp. She probably shouldn't move him, not that it was an option anyway. He was a big man, broad of shoulder and maybe 6'4". It was hard to tell with him slumped over that way. At 5'8", she was no shrimp, and she was strong as a mule to boot, but there was no way she'd be able to drag the man from the vehicle. She needed help. That thought frightened her worse than the cliff. The nearest phone was